Denise. Superstar Denise Show.
Today's guest proves that dreams don't retire, they just evolve. From Radio City Music Hall to Vegas stages, from the Rockette's line to mentoring young women, everyone, let's meet the radiant MarQue Munday.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
I thank you for joining us, coming all the way from Vegas.
I had to come in, right?
Yeah.
I had to come in. So it was very nice to meet you both in person.
Very nice to meet you. And we have a big story today.
Oh.
Because you have a very colorful story and a lot of exciting things happening for you and things that you've done. So I'd like to dive into it.
Okay.
And so first thing when we spoke earlier, first thing that really excited me was when you mentioned that you were the second Black woman to ever become a Rockette.
Well,
that's definitely worth mentioning.
To dance on Radio City stages. And that's different because they did have a touring show and there was an African-American woman on that tour. But she didn't dance at the hall. So I definitely want to make sure I'm giving homage to the women that came before me. But I would like to take my place too.
Absolutely. So how was that like? How did you get into, how did you find out about it? What were you doing?
I started dancing when I was 3. Rosemary's Dance Studio on Staten Island, and all of my teachers went to try out to be Rockettes. Now, coming from Staten Island, Radio City Music Hall is across the bridge. And so I grew up with this as a sightline. Now, once I did graduate from college as a musical theater major, I saw a Rockette audition in the papers, but I was unable to go. I was working another job. And so the second time I saw the audition, I said, you know what? I'm going to go. Let's see what it's like. And that was in 91, 92, it was 92. So I go to the audition and there was about 900 women there. And I think my number was like 486, if I'm not mistaken, because we had a little name tag that they put on you.
You have a great memory.
And this story has been told many times over the years now, but what winded up happening is you know how auditions go. They line you up to type you first. So we got past the typing. Then they taught you a tap routine. Then you get past that. Then you do the famous eye high kick line. And at that point, they said, thank you, ladies. If we'd like to see you again, we'll give you a call back. And I thought, okay, well, I made it through this first day and it was pretty rigorous. I went home and I practiced just in case. And I did get a call. And when I got the call, it said, we'd like to see you again on Thursday between 10 and 1. Well, like every working, actress, dancer, singer, you temp. Because you got to pay the bills somehow. And I had a temp job that I was working. So I went to the temp job and I said, listen, I've got a call back for the Rockettes. It's between 10 and 1 on Thursday. So I want to be able to get out early. And they were like, great, no problem. Thursday, I go to work. I have all my stuff with me. I'm like, okay, I'm underdressing my stuff. I left at like 11 to make it to Midtown. And when I got to the door, the backstage door at Radio City Music Hall, a flood of women were coming out. And this girl looked at me and said, you missed it. It's over.
Oh, God.
I'm standing there. My eyes well up with water. I'm kind of trying to shy to the side. But the doorman said, wait a minute. I'll call up and see if anybody's left in the rehearsal hall. And he did. He called upstairs and they said, oh my gosh, we'll be right down to get her. I went up and the producer at that time was Bruce Michael. Thank you, Bruce. And he said, we thought something happened to you. And I said, I'm so embarrassed. The call came as between 10 and 1. So I thought I had that window of time. And so they were like, well, do you remember yes, of course I remember the routine. I was in my tap shoes that quick. And Violet Holmes at the time, she was the choreographer. She had acquired that position from Russell Merkert, the actual founder. And so we went over the routine and I basically did a solo callback. And later on, so after it was done, I thanked them graciously. They had me do an on-camera interview. I sang for them. I was thrilled. I was excited. But at that point, it's fate's in their hands, right? So you just let it go. Let God have it. And I went back out on tour. And so I was in Europe and my mom called me and she said, Radio City wants you. And so I had less than 10 days to get off that tour, get back to New York, to get to the hall, to do all the fittings. And I started rehearsal 1992 on my birthday, October 23rd.
Wow.
Yep.
What a nice birthday gift. And you actually share a birthday with the producer of this show, Mr. Slavic. Birthday twins?
Yes.
Wow. What kind of tour were you doing in Europe?
So it was a musical theater tour. It was called Golden Musicals of Broadway. I had the opportunity to sing the Dreamgirls section and it was part of the West Side Story section and got to understudy the Ain't Misbehavin' section. And then, of course, be on the ensemble for the other pieces, Cats and Les Mis and that kind of stuff. But it was a musical. So we did little pieces from each of the great musicals from Broadway.
Well, nothing beats the call from Radio City.
Oh.
So, bye, guys.
Yes.
Where in Europe were you?
At that time, we did a lot of Germany. So I was in Germany. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, nothing beats like coming home.
Right.
Getting on stage. I mean, Radio City, I think everybody knows it. If you enjoy any kind of musical theater, everyone knows Radio City. So how was the training once you got called in and you started now, I guess, I believe the training for all the Rockette performances.
Yes.
How was that like? We have time.
Yeah. Well, the crazy thing was being in musical theater and having done a show, you kind of know what the workday is. It's 10 to 5. You kind of get your hour and your couple of minutes breaks in between. But I will tell you that I had never danced that much, that long. Yeah. Even college wasn't that rigorous.
Right.
But it was really great training. The girls and the women were wonderful. It's a sisterhood, much like we're celebrating the 100th, and having our gala and doing all that stuff this year. So it's really great to be back in that fold.
So everyone was very supportive. Did you have any mean girl moments from the other dancers? Oh, we're always trying to get the juice here.
Yes. So sidebar, I have a book that's called Kicking the Odds and my dream, vision, and reality of becoming a Radio City Rockette. And everybody was like, what did she put in that book? What did she put in there? And I put all the positive things, how you learn to persevere and so on and so forth. But honestly and truly, yes, there were mean girl moments. And I don't talk about them a lot because, they're past and they make you stronger. But being the second Black woman in a room full of others, I had to pay my dues. So it's like a sorority,
Let's think of it that
you
way.
got your little hazing in there. And, but I think that at the time, it was a different time, a different culture. And so you kind of knew, just being the new girl. And that's what I'll say. When you were the new girl, you had to pick up the slack.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I didn't know that the way they put their hands, we didn't really grab each other in a kick line. I didn't know that. So the first time I did it and somebody said, don't touch me. And I was like, oh, sorry.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know it.
It looks like they do.
It does look like it. It's an illusion. So,
wow.
But also the other thing is that if you are holding on, if you slip, fall, you would pull the rest of the line down. So it makes sense. But it would have been nice to kind of been told that beforehand, right?
Before the first performance.
No, before the first rehearsal portion, right?
Wow. Yes.
So that you didn't do it. But it was all part of it. And I think as the girls have told me, they all went through it. So we didn't make it a big deal. We just kind of sucked it up, Buttercup, and got it together.
Well, that's how it's done in the biz.
That's it.
It's interesting in ballroom dancing. In my experience, I haven't necessarily felt the mean girl thing. Usually that comes with a whole group of ladies, like usually in one company. But I will say there is some of that hazing that comes across. And I think maybe that's in every art form.
Competitive hazing, absolutely.
Yeah, that's a thing. And yes, we're not also supposed to grab onto our partners too. It looks like that, but don't do it.
Right.
Both of you
Exactly.
going down. So you mentioned you studied musical theater
Yes.
in California.
Yes.
So you were already prepared for all of this coming your way, right? All the auditioning and...
Yes. Well, in school, they do prepare you for that. So there's actually a class called Musical Theater 101 that prepares you for your auditions and so on and so forth. I laugh, though, because I'm from New York. And of course, Broadway is in New York.
Yeah. How'd you end up in California?
I loved watching the Brady Bunch and the Partridge Family and I Dream of Jeannie. And these were all TV shows that were on set in California, right? So I was fixated and thought, that's where I want to go. Not even realizing that, well, if you want to do Broadway, you kind of got to come back to New York.
You're in the wrong time zone, hon.
Right. But it was good because I did get to go to California. San Diego is absolutely beautiful. It's good. It is another way of life. So having that culture, to learn from, and I will say that training there, sun every day, warm climate every day. I mean, that was the best. The studios were beautiful, and New York is great. But you're going to endure the weather, the subways. That's just a lot. So to be able to hone your craft, learn and train in that environment, that was great. That was great. And then I came home,
Right.
Yeah.
So would you say you're really still an East Coast kind of girl?
Oh, I'm absolutely an East Coast kind of girl.
I do love California. It's beautiful, but it's just a little too slow paced for me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And, us on the East Coast, we like to get aggravated when things are not done in 3 seconds.
That's right.
To our timeline. Fair.
That's right.
Fair. So tell me now, okay, so here I have in my notes, life as a Rockette. You did a lot of Christmas and Easter shows, and you were in a touring Coney shows. So tell me about that.
So what they call the Coney shows were the shows that were outside of Radio City that you might have done something at the mall. I did a Peter Allen benefit that was out in California. I went to Graceland and we did a show at Elvis's place, in Graceland.
Yes.
So those were the shows that were outside. They also did have what they call Coney shows that were Christmas shows that were in other places. Now, the only other place I did Christmas was in Las Vegas when I was in the Vegas company there outside of Radio City. But they did have California. They did have New Mexico. They had several other places. They had Branson, Missouri, that the young ladies also danced. So there were lines of Rockettes for Christmas shows.
So how many shows would you be in at a given time?
Well, if you're doing the Christmas show during New York, in New York at Christmas time, you definitely have the Macy's Day Parade. That'll happen in that dispensation of time. You also have the Rockefeller tree lighting. That also happens within that dispensation of time. I also got to do the FAO Schwartz launch for the Rockette Barbie doll, and that also happened during the Christmas dispensation of time. So it could be 3 or more. It just depends on the different things that are being promoted at that time. Sure.
Wow. So, and all of that is still current.
Yes.
Current. So all for all the young ladies who are like aspiring. I always like to put that plug in because the art needs to keep going.
Absolutely.
We need to keep going.
Absolutely.
TikTok is not enough.
No.
TikTok is not it. Okay. So while you're doing all the shows, you have all of that going on, you were also chosen to be in the Breathless 12. Oh my gosh. So what is this, Breathless 12?
Well, this is a tradition that Russell Market, the founder, had. The original line of Rockettes were the Missouri Rockets, and there were 12 women. This line evolved, and now at Radio City Music Hall, there are 36 women that dance at one time. But this is something that the Rockette Alumni Association brings back, and as an homage to the founder, the Breathless 12. And I had the honor of being chosen to dance at our 100th anniversary.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So you were one of 12. And did you have a lady from each time period?
Right. They were definitely picking to do a Rockette through the ages. Mm-hmm. And so I believe the span was 69 to 2021.
What an honor.
Yeah, it was an honor. But I also, when I came on the line, it was right before Radio City had made a shift or a change. There was a permanent roster of women that were contracted to Radio City. And of course, when I came in, I was extra to that line. So somebody wasn't there from the actual roster. So they needed extras. And what they did, of course, with as many shows as there were, you had 2 lines. So first, it was the green line. Then they incorporated a second line and they made it gold and blue. But you had the green line that were the women that were grandfathered into being able to do the entire run of the Christmas show.
Wow.
Yes. And because I had come in at that time on what they called the green line, I danced with many women that had been at Radio City for many, many years. And I actually have a Life magazine from 1969 that has the line of Rockettes on the cover. And in the actual write-up, the pictures, there's a woman that I danced with. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I actually did a show with her. So it was amazing to see. So I was there for an actual shift and changeover to the new regime. And now I believe they're still working the gold and blue lines now. So basically you do half. So what that means is we had up to 5 shows a day.
A day?
Yes, 5, 12, 3, 6, and 9. 9. 9 a.m., 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 9 o'clock. So I was able to do all 5 shows as the green line. If you were gold and blue, you did the morning shows or the afternoon shows, and then they flip-flopped them. We did a rotation, so you worked 6 days a week with 1 day off. This week I'd be off Thursday. Next week I'd be off Friday. Next week I'd be off Saturday. Or it back down so that you worked 6 days straight. Yeah.
And then you slept in between shows.
And you slept and woke up and went going, what time is it?
Slept in your lashes.
Yes.
Wow. So 5 shows.
Yes. And actually I have a t-shirt because they tried one year by adding a 6th show.
Oh my goodness.
And I have a t-shirt that says, I survived 6 shows at Radio City Music. And yes, I did. I did survive. Yes. But they quickly did not do that again. That was a lot.
There's only so many hours in a day.
Right.
Obviously, when you were dancing and you were doing 5 shows in a day, obviously you didn't have to do anything else. There was no time for anything else. But when you were like in off season, what would you do to keep those high kicks and those like
dance classes? Pilates was a mainstay for me.
Pilates, everybody.
Yes. And I did become a certified Pilates instructor because of that. Right. That was my dancer's transition. Right. Yes. And then dance classes. So you took your tap classes, your jazz and your ballet classes. Ballet, of course, we know is a staple of dance, right?
Everyone should do it if you're in the dance world.
Right. Yeah. And because it just gives your body that foundation that it needs. And so, on the off season, that's, you took a couple of dance classes, you did yoga, I did Pilates.
So like every true artist, every dancer, many singers, actors, you had a side hustle, another job outside of the dance world. And so you became a flight attendant for Spirit Airlines.
Yeah.
Which is, we should zoom in on that reaction. Now, I've flown Spirit a few times. It's actually, I actually enjoyed it. And if specifically from New Jersey to Vegas.
Yes.
And I've had every time very fun experiences as I've traveled, meeting some very interesting people.
Yes.
So when did you take that job on?
2012.
2012. Okay.
Yes. So being in Vegas, there's entertainment all the time. And Vegas has done some transitions. After I retired from the Rockettes, I went into bands. So I started singing with a band. I do a tribute to Donna Summer and Diana Ross. So now I was working, and I worked for Cirque du Soleil, doing Pilates, doing performance medicine to keep the artist in shape for the show, right? But always staying somewhere near to the craft and making sure I stayed in shape and kept myself going. And at that point in 2012, Vegas had done yet another one of their transitions, meaning they weren't hiring bands that were in the city. They were doing more of the off, calling bands in from other states and other towns and other places, which meant that there was less work for those bands that were in town. And at that point, unfortunately, the bill collectors didn't say, "Oh, don't worry about it." I had to get a job. So
Don't worry about it. Your kicks are fantastic.
right, my kicks
world
are
famous.
Just bring
but
them back. Yeah,
the light bills still do.
Right, the light bills still do. So I said, why don't I try something that I've always wanted to do? I've been flying since I was a child, and I really enjoyed being up in the air. And I thought, and flight attendants are glamorous, aren't they?
Yes,
That's what you always thought of,
absolutely.
And so there it was, a job opening for Spirit Airlines, flight attendant, Las Vegas base. I didn't even know what that meant, but I thought, I'm in Las Vegas, flight attendant, I get this. And who is Spirit Airlines? So I went and I did. I got the job, but I thought it was God's very funny joke on my life to say, okay, this is the airline you're going to work for. Okay, sounds good to me.
I mean, you definitely have spirit.
Thank you.
You do.
Thank you.
Maybe I think Spirit Airlines needed you.
Okay, I'll take
because
that.
you are already, obviously, you are not shy.
No.
The camera loves you.
No. Oh,
you know how to perform. And so I'm sure you've taken all these skills and applied it in.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Welcome aboard.
See the unwavering smile. Wow. So you work as a flight attendant.
Yes.
You are still
yes.
doing shows.
Yes.
And there was one in particular that you started performing with Radiance and Ladies of Motown.
Yes. So these are two girl groups. One is 4 and one is 3. So Radiance is a 4-girl quartet, and we do a tribute to the ladies of Motown and R&B. And for the past 12 years, we were working both with symphony orchestras throughout the United States and touring Australia. So we would go to Australia and do a 5 to 6 week stint. And we also had our brother group, which was Spectrum. So we had a show together, and that was called Songs in the Key of Motown. Radiance does have its own show by itself. And so we do the Smith Center in Las Vegas. And like I said, work with symphony orchestras. Then there's a separate group of 3 ladies that I'm currently working with called the Ladies of Motown. And we just had a performance in Las Vegas, and we have one coming up. And we work at the Italian American Club in Las Vegas quite a bit. And so that's coming up for us. So we'll be doing that show. We just did a promo on what we call the Mark O'Toole Show, which is a great platform, and Dennis Bono. So those are both platform shows in Las Vegas to help artists, showcase and promote their shows.
I go there every year for dance competitions.
Nice.
But every time I go, I just get reminded about how awesome the dance and the theater and the musical worlds are.
Yes.
And I do still feel that all of the performers are still under, I think, not given the respect they deserve.
Okay.
In the world.
Yes.
Everyone is still so infatuated with the latest hottest football player, soccer player. It's like these guys get all the fame, and you're doing such great stuff, and you have to either be in the world to know that it's happening, or you have to be curious.
Yes.
So it's a little note to everybody. Go watch your shows. Go support the dancers. Go support the musical artists. Everybody, actors.
I think that's a great word you use, curious. You have to be curious, because without that curiosity, you don't stretch outside of your own norm. Mm-hmm. And we know dancers train just as hard as any athlete.
Oh, yeah.
Even more so.
Even more so.
Yes.
Because you don't get dancers, unfortunately, and for probably different reasons, but they don't get the support and the financial support that a lot of professional athletes get.
That's correct.
Because they can just play and practice. You have to play, practice, and work.
Yes.
So,
well, I mean, I think, what one of the funny things about entertainment is that everybody thinks of it along the lines of a hobby.
Right.
Except when you're buying that ticket and you're going to the opera, the ballet, the musical theater shows. That's when it dawns on you, that ticket price, that this is a viable career.
Yep.
Entertainment is a career. And everybody doesn't do it. When you think about the girl next door, or you have that person in your family that says, oh no, don't put the camera in front of me. Oh no, I don't want to speak in public. That's the difference.
Right.
That's what lets you know that this is a viable career path and that it does take skill and that we do have to train. We don't just get in front of the camera and
That's
show
right.
up.
On
you know.
season and off season.
Exactly.
All the seasons.
Exactly. I'm pitching because you know what? We need sponsors. You're right.
We do. Always looking for sponsors.
Yes.
So if you know anybody,
Yes.
please spread the word. Okay, so I want to change the tune a little bit. You are married.
Okay, so technically,
Oh,
do we want to be technical?
we can be.
Okay. I do have a gentleman that's in my life that was my husband. And I call him my husband because I married him twice. But we're technically not married.
All right. We didn't rehearse that before this.
Nope.
So the same gentleman you married,
Yes.
then divorced.
Yes.
Then remarried,
Yes.
then divorced.
Yes. Then married somebody else. Then divorced.
And then married somebody else, then divorced.
Yes. And then went back to the first one.
And now you're just together.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. See, we can write stories
That's
about
so
this.
much.
Great
I don't know how much
sitcom,
time we have
right.
here. But
Great sitcom stuff, movie stuff. Yeah. It's life.
that's life.
Yeah.
That's life. So when you first, let's talk about the man, the two-timer.
The two-timer.
Don't call it that way.
Right.
So you met him when you were pretty young. And
yes,
then,
when I first went to Vegas.
oh,
Right.
Is he, so he's a performer? Or
He
is
was a jazz saxophone player.
musician.
Yes, a musician. Yes.
Oh,
hmm
of course.
Right. So that speaks for itself, right?
That makes sense.
So now we can just unfold the story. Any pieces that you want to stick in there. Yes.
So you met him young. How old were you?
I was in my 20s. So
Okay.
late 20s, but yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
You get together. You get married pretty quickly,
Yep.
or
So we met and married in 9 months.
wow.
In our first year of marriage, we had our son. We bought a house, 2 brand new cars, had a kitty cat and a doggy.
Wow, you were busy.
Yes, we were busy. We were busy. We said, if we don't get it all in now, it won't happen. So we got it all in.
Wow.
Yes.
And then
We watched it slowly unfold and implode.
So note to self, don't rush everything, everyone.
Don't rush.
There might be more time than you think.
Right.
Wow. So, okay. So it unfolds and then you find that you miss him.
Well, we find that we both have the same life values or family values. And so it was just a matter of, we know that guys take a little bit longer to grow up.
Yes, they do.
And so he needed time to grow up. So we tried it again, but he hadn't yet made it past that stage. So it was okay. You know, we parted ways and moved on, and we had a son.
So
We've co-parented, and I went on and I found yet somebody else to be with, and you fall in love. I hadn't had enough of musicians, so I married another musician. Yes.
Did he play the same?
No, he's a
instrument?
drummer.
Oh,
He's a drummer.
we moved on to the drummers.
Yes. And,
Wow.
And he still plays drums. He is a working musician, touring musician, Gladys Knight's drummer, as a matter of fact. And he's played with Jeffrey Osborne, and he's touring right now in Australia, playing with Al McKay. And yeah,
So he's
great-
doing well.
great musician.
Do you keep in
yeah.
touch with him?
We do keep in touch in the sense that we did have a piece of life together,
Right.
you know. And so, again, this is, once you are grown, this is called what I call being grown, you know, because these people are still alive, and we're to a point of life now where other transitions are happening, where people are leaving us. You know, we did
Right.
get through COVID, we did that. But in your lifetime, when your friends are starting to pass away,
Yes.
we kind of put those walls down. It's like, you know what, we didn't work out, but I still do care about you. I do still care that you're
Right.
a human being. How are you doing? You know, stuff like that. So absolutely.
That's really nice to hear
Yeah.
because we do, you know, in my experience, and you know what I hear around with friends, like we do put up the walls, and then I have crossed people out of my life,
Right,
and
right.
you're like, that's it. I don't ever want to wish them
No.
harm or
Right.
anything, but it is nice to just be understand everyone's human.
Yes.
And you could have, simply timing is the essential. You could have met the right person at the wrong time.
Right. Absolutely.
And things happen.
Yeah.
But it's not, most of what happens to us is not really in our control.
Not in
There's
our control.
somebody
right.
orchestrating this.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I
Yeah.
believe that 100%. And so we continue on. And yeah.
And so now you guys are enjoying each other's company.
There we go.
Your son is grown.
Yes.
And
he has kids. We have grandkids. And
oh, good.
I'm Glamma, by the way.
Glamma.
And my son doesn't like that because he's like, Glamma's not a word. Glamorous is a word. And ma is a word. I've just put them together.
Because she's creative.
Yes.
And that's what we do.
We have nanas, we have grandmas, we have GGs, we have TTs, we have Glamma.
We have Glamma.
Yes.
Oh. So with that, my notes tells me.
Yes.
The
trusty dusties.
My trusty dusties. So while at some point in your life, you turned your attention back to the higher power, to God.
Absolutely.
And what was there an event that happened in your life in particular that kind of brought you closer to religion or?
No. Before I left New York to go to Las Vegas, I became born again Christian. That was, I thought, a good choice to make going into Sin City, right? You kind of want to stay grounded. I found a church while I was in Las Vegas, and I was there for several years, sang on the worship team, and had a few different churches that I've gone to in Vegas and been on the worship team as well. When I retired from the Rockettes, being in Las Vegas, the question was, where are you going to work? We know what those shows are like, right?
Yeah.
And I was not willing to make that compromise. So I wasn't going to go to Jubilee or I wasn't going to go to Follies Bergère. That wasn't going to be the line, that I was going to dance on. So I had to, at that point, trust that God would make a way, that he'd open a door, that he'd show me something. And I winded up doing a show called Beats of Passion. We were at the Venetian. It was another family variety show. They hired dancers for that show. And in hiring dancers, the choreographer and the costumer said, all of the girls will be styled costume-wise in what you're comfortable in. And I thought, wow, that's different. And so I had beautiful costumes. Now, all of our materials were the same, but I had a long sleeve kind of crop top, with the collar on it, with pants. Another girl had like a culotte thing. Another girl had a skirt type thing. Another girl had a leotard type thing, with the one leg. And so we were all dancers doing the same choreography, but all very comfortable. That show ran for a while. They had, again, it was a variety act. So there was the Gauchos, which is a family group that performs. And that was the other thing about Vegas that was really interesting. I wasn't really completely aware of, when you said variety show, what that really meant. So I've worked with a ventriloquist. I've worked with a puppeteer. I've worked with a group called the Massive Mutts. This was a guy that had, I think, 8 or 9 dogs. So it was a dog act that.
And you would dance around the puppies?
In the show, they had their time.
I see.
So when you have a variety show, you had your 15 minutes, they had their 15 minutes, and then the dancers kind of segued and pulled that through, pulled the pieces together.
Right.
They were that knitting thread. Magic acts and illusionists. It was very, very different. And I was like, wow. So that turning my life over or just saying, you know what, God, open the doors that you will. I've been working ever since. And not many times have I actually gone to audition for jobs. It's been more like, hey, the phone rings. MarQue, are you available? I've got this and this and this. Or Motown groups.
Wow.
Call. Sister knows all that stuff, And like I said, I do Diana Ross and Donna Summer. So I have my own little show. And that's another thing with Legends in Concert, things like that, which are the shows that are iconizing the legends of our business. So if you have your act, you only need 15, 20 minutes, Elvis is usually your finale, and then you just plug in the pieces. So, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, he busted the door wide open, and I was like, hallelujah, thank you.
So you've been busier.
I've been
than
yes.
Maybe you may want.
It's very interesting. It's very interesting. For my birthday, rest is the theme of the day. We're talking pedicure, reflexology, massage, manicure.
One day
One
a year.
day.
Well, you know what? You can sleep.
Yes.
When the show is all over.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
There's
Very
no
much
point.
so. Yeah.
And you can operate. And this is great. Nothing like putting on some lashes, lipstick, and you
And
look
go.
like you slept a whole 8 hours.
Right. That's it. That is it.
Newsflash, this isn't natural. Okay. So you have a nonprofit as well as you are a director in a scholarship program,
Yes.
correct?
Yes.
So
So Witness Performing Arts
Mhm.
is my nonprofit and was started back in 2001 after I retired from the Rockettes and I was still in Vegas. I opened this to go into the recreation centers and teach dance.
Wow, so you've had this for a while already.
Yes. So
Great.
I taught 18 years in the rec centers and then spun off and had my own, I guess you would say dance studio, but I rented a studio and, the students came to me there. And by doing that outside of the rec center, I was able to incorporate dance from the biblical and technical aspect. So there's a book that's out. It's called Witness Performing Arts, and it teaches children dance from the biblical aspect as well as I was trained in Rockette ballet. So I bring the ballet section of dance from there. Of course, we said ballet is the foundation of dance.
Right.
From that, you learn how God himself moves. The scripture says, in him we live and move and have our being. That's Acts scripture. And teaching children dance from that, for me and in hopes with parents, is that it's instilled in them that this is a way for them to express themselves. But dance is very powerful.
Mm-hmm.
In the Bible, it talks about the young daughter that danced for the king. Her dance was so beautiful that the king said, you can have anything that you want, up to half of my kingdom. That's how powerful her dance hit the king. Now, her mother, being who she was, had been having an affair with this man and her husband. So these two things. And she said, Mommy, what should I ask for? And there was a prophet, John the Baptist, who had been put in jail because he had been saying to her, what you're doing is not right. She said, ask the king for the head of John the Baptist on a platter. And the little girl did. Said that's what her mother wanted. She told that to the king, and the king, grieved as he was, had said his word. So he had to do this. All of this to say how powerful dance is.
Wow.
And we know this.
Yeah.
We see strip clubs. We see what's going on, right?
Right.
And so teaching dance, my giving back in the community was to really set this so that it's really clear that when you're out there, understand and know what power you are evoking that's coming through you.
You essentially have a responsibility.
You have a responsibility. Exactly. So after the 18 years, I turned it into a mentorship. And now I do coaching under my brand, Discover and Live Your Dream Life, which is still under the nonprofit, so that I can work with people to live their dreams, their goals, live out their aspirations and desires. Repetition, I always say it, is the mother of success.
Mm-hmm.
We need to be consistent. We need to be persistent. We need to continue to persevere. And as dancers, we know that training, right? We have to continue to train so that we stay in shape for that. Well, it's really no different in any other career.
Mm-hmm.
People just don't see it that way for some reason, and they compartmentalize their life. Well, Discover and Live Your Dream Life has 7 components that include every component of your life, because whether you showcase it or not, you're actually doing it. Like, we're not sitting in your kitchen watching you cook meals, but you are a chef, right? When you're at home with your family. We're not at your house watching you clean, but you are your own household technician, right? Unless you've hired a maid. So all of these processes and parts of your life are still happening. They're still thriving through you. But we decide, I'm going to be this, and all of a sudden life just turns into that one compartment. Well, we know if you use one muscle over and over and over and over again, what's going to happen? Eventually you're going to burn it out, right? So we actually need to be ambidextrous when we're doing things. That means to bring all of it in. So we have our spirituality, our health and fitness, our wellness and beauty, travel and leisure, which is really just your downtime, right? Arts, entrepreneurship, and entertainment, because you really do need to get out and be curious about other things that are going on. Your finances, big, right?
Yeah.
And then what I call the 7th step is your giving back in the community or your mentorship. So I say paying it forward, or mentorship. You're doing that with your show. I did that teaching dance. You do that as an instructor. You know, you could teach Little League. You can be a tutor for students. You could be somebody that, you know, teaches about the stage or cameras or a social media person. But as long as you're giving back to help the younger generation and to teach them, hey, this stuff really does take training. Really does take training. You know?
Message, yes.
Big time. Unfortunately, our younger generation thinks, you know, turn the camera on, jump in front of it, do whatever, get 1,000 views, and all of a sudden,
now you're a millionaire and you don't have to do anything.
No. So in order for that to live the longevity, and we look at it now, you know, with our artists and our singers out there, train. Make sure you're training. Keep your voice in shape. Look back at your icons. Gladys Knight is still performing. 81 years old. They have the Queen's Tour out with Shaka Khan, Gladys Knight, Stephanie Mills, and Patti LaBelle. And they're still singing full voice. Still.
Amazing.
Right? We don't sing to tracks.
No.
So
it's a new thing.
So that's my nonprofit and how I've spun that. And now we're looking at On the Marquee, which is going to be the last. Well, I won't say the last because I'm sure something else will evolve. But right now, that's what's most prominent. Bringing all of the folds of these arts, entertainment, and the different modalities in the arts they should come together. Right. So we have On the Marquee, which is a platform for our entrepreneurs that are ready to transition into the professional world. So what does that look like, and how do we do that?
Oh, wow. This is fantastic. So you're helping these, you know, young amateur dancers,
singers,
all kinds, singers, actors basically jump that hurdle into the professional
and
world. I feel that's so important because I come across, you know, people all the time and students and a lot of people, actually, interestingly enough, that come to take ballroom lessons usually are older. So they have their, you know, their careers, their families and everything going. And they're like, you know, I never did anything for myself. So they come and they take lessons.
That's wonderful.
And the thing that's interesting is that I always hear and I always feel that they regret not doing it earlier.
Absolutely.
And even with that, if they did it earlier, many times there was no opportunity to transform it into a career. So they detour and they go elsewhere.
Right.
And so this is actually going to help, you know, flood our industry, which we need. It is still too small compared to others.
Right.
And that's just, so what kind of things do you work on or set up with them?
Stage presence. Hello. Teaching them the parts of stage. The stage has road signs just like our streets. But when you drive down the street, you have a stop sign, you have a yield sign, you have a one-way sign. You know what you're supposed to be doing. Unfortunately, on the stage, unless you've trained to know where downstage is, upstage, stage right, stage left, there are ways that you present yourself on stage to the camera. It's a way to angle yourself. if we were holding microphones, if downstage is this way, I'm not going to do this with my microphone. I'm going to do this. Why? Because it leaves me open to my audience. And a lot of times,
so important.
It's important, but people aren't teaching that. They're literally just saying, go. And one of the pieces for me is upstaging yourself. And I had somebody say, can you do that? Absolutely, you can. You can be on stage all by yourself and upstage yourself simply by the direction and movement that you're doing on the stage with nobody else there. Now, it's worse when you have somebody on stage and you start upstaging the people on stage. And there is a way to not do that. Okay. The spotlights are supposed to be on the person at that time that you're supposed to be looking at. Now, yes, I can teach you how to pull focus and that kind of thing. And those things are appropriate in certain places, but it is all staged. So as I do tell people, those reality TV shows that you're watching, they're not all just reality. Somebody wrote a script. There is direction in it telling you exactly what they want you to do. They want you to smirk here. They want you to throw something there.
It's true.
To make that drama happen. This is not just...
They're like poking, probing.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so some of that stuff with amateur to professional, hopefully they've done some training. And so this is the way it comes off and they're like, I get it. So you can have that light bulb moment, because that's really the good thing when you get that light bulb moment. So that's what we're looking at with our younger. And even I've actually had older clients, like you said, because they chose an alternative career for their life. They had their families.
Which is great.
Yeah, it is. It is. And then they come back.
Yeah.
And now, when you take a full-grown adult that has had another whole career and you start explaining some of these things, that's when they realize and the light bulb goes off in their head that, wow, this takes more than just youth. Yes, it does. It's great to have the youth because that excitement is wonderful.
Right.
The other thing is that we know about nerves.
Yeah.
That nervous energy, right? That nervous energy is really good if you know how to focus it. But if you don't,
it takes over. It can shut you down so many times. And the only way that you can work through it is if you know how to.
Right.
It's a art form within the art form.
Yes. That's where we're back to repetition again.
Repetition. And I think this is like, so I know that this platform is basically to help specifically amateur artists become professional. But I think this is so important for kids anymore these days.
Yes.
Even if they're not into the arts, there's just so much. Now everyone's behind their phone, tablets, computers. No one can speak. I teach a few kids and they're super sweet. And I've had a few of them since they were like, probably like 10 years, since they were little. But they, in particular, there's some that have such anxiety to do what I would deem like pretty simple tasks, simple interactions with people. They can't look people in the eye. And there's just like this fear. And that's something I'm like, what happened from when I grew up? Everybody was playing in the streets and having fun, and the dance class, of course.
COVID happened.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Because the interaction stopped. And like you said, the tablets and the phones. Okay, I don't communicate with you this way. I communicate with you here.
Right.
So I don't have to ever look at you. I don't really ever have to speak to you. I can just do it from right here. So when I'm in front of you,
it's intimidating.
It's intimidating. I mean, just any look that you give me now, all of a sudden, my mind is going off in 10 different directions. What is she thinking? Why is she looking at me like that? Is there something on my face? I don't look right. Or she thinks I'm ugly. All of that's going, and that's that anxiety.
Yep.
Right? So you're right. When we were younger, we were out in the streets playing and running up and down.
We didn't care. We didn't know.
No, it was
I
good.
wouldn't have known.
Teaching with the young children that I taught, 3 to 17 was my age range. I said, you know what? I don't care if you never become a dancer.
Right.
But taking this class and taking these classes, you'll walk into a room and you'll say, hi, my name is MarQue. It's so nice to meet you.
Oh, perfection.
That's all you need.
And
Eye
it's
contact.
so powerful.
Yes,
like
it
right
is.
there, the way that you just did it, it's like, I can't help but get sucked in. I need to see. And it's very warm. And there's It's not, and it's not even, I think sometimes people feel when they look someone in the eye that it's like more of just like intimidation or, hostile or something. But it's just, you can look very warmly and be able to have a nice conversation and all is well. I think that's a lost art.
Yes.
And I think that's exceptional, like having this platform working.
So that's what we're looking to grow that, especially with our younger generation now, especially with I like to call them our millennials, but we're even past that now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
millennials, now there's the Gen Z and then Alpha.
Right. So that takes us to Miss Juneteenth Nevada, the scholarship program. That's Juneteenth Nevada. So Juneteenth is all about us learning our Black history and our
June
culture.
19th.
Yep, June 19th. It was 1865 that the day was coined for this celebration. And the scholarship program, so it's I work specifically with Miss Juneteenth Nevada scholarship program. Mm-hmm. Each state has their Juneteenth that they do in their platforms. And then we have a national Juneteenth Observance Foundation that brings those states together for a scholarship program pageant for our young ladies. And what the young ladies, they reign for 1 year. I like to say it's not a competition. All of the young ladies transition to be ambassadors. One will take the crown. One will be the first runner-up, second runner-up. Everybody else will be what we call the Queen of Courts. Because, as we know, it's always nice to have somebody helping out, right? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So all of the young ladies have an opportunity to do all of the things that the Queen does. Now, of course, if somebody wants an interview, we take it to the Queen. If the Queen isn't available, we go to the first runner-up, second runner-up, and it unfolds itself that way. We work all year, so they reign for 1 solid year. And in that year, we do a formal dinner with them. Many times, we don't even have a formal outfit in our closet anymore.
No.
We sit down at a table and you see all this silverware and it's like, what in the heck do I do with all of that?
Yeah, so we don't really know.
Right. We have etiquette class for them to learn, the dinner settings and the place settings and what's proper. But what I like them to know most of all is any room that you show up in, you're supposed to be there. And by being there, we want to make sure you're equipped with knowing how to be there.
Exactly. So you don't feel like you need to hide.
Right. There's no need. So our pageant, they do have a section of talent. So that's anything that you've been training in that you want to showcase. We do something called a recitation. And the recitation is one of the 3 freedom documents. So we have General Order Number 3, the Emancipation Proclamation, and then the 13th Amendment. So out of those 3, you are to pick a section and present that. You can be as creative as you want to be. You can narrate it. You can decide to be an on-camera anchor person, narrating it that way. You can choose to decide, I want to be a part of this. So let's just say you picked the 13th Amendment. So now you're looking back in the history of the years and you want to come out as a character of that time to do it. We know that the Emancipation Proclamation was written by Lincoln. Mm-hmm. So if you want to be Lincoln, put the hat on, and do it as a delivery. So that's for them to be creative. Then, of course, they have their evening gown that they come in. And each one of those sections, they are to do a walking pattern. And that's part of the modeling. And that just really gives them stage presence,
Right.
Walk around the stage, learn this. And then they have their 60-second elevator pitch, or what we call their introduction.
Fantastic.
And so what you're about, the things that you're interested in. Because they're in high school, a lot of them will talk about the fact that they're cheerleaders or they're in the band or they aspire to do this in college, but to bring that together. So once again, when you walk in that room to meet somebody and do the warm chatter, you have something to say and something that they can talk about. Because once you kind of share something like I've shared part of my life, now you can have something to talk about. Exactly. And we can go back and forth. So that's what we do with the scholarship program. We do a fashion show with them previous to the pageant. After the pageant, we do a formal dinner with them. I have worked with, again, a PR person. So they do many interviews, whether it's TV or radio in Las Vegas. So we've had several platforms, Channel 3, Channel 5, Channel 13, Channel 8 that we've done in Vegas with our young ladies so that they have that time, and they feel what it's like to be in front of a live camera. During the rest of the course.
Which can be terrifying.
Absolutely. And we see that from the way they start to the way they finish. Oh, it's a whole different thing. Of course, we have outside festivals that we go to. Of course, the Juneteenth celebration that we do, Martin Luther King parade that we're in. We do the St. Patrick's Day parade. And I have 8 women, professional women that work with me called the Juneteenth Legacy Council. And they lend their expertise, their mentoring, and their professional businesses. We have one cutie boutique, which is Shanika Gunn, and she outfits the girls in their business attire. Because attire today
is a whole other thing. Can we get a zoom in on her face? You don't think wearing sweats to
bonnets,
nice
sweats, and slippers? No.
Oh. Well, and I get, going to the airport working as a flight attendant, you see all kinds.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I've seen it when I take the flights.
Yeah.
I'm like, you're still going.
You're still in public. People are seeing you.
Like, did you shower? That's my question.
No.
Some have not.
No. So,
wow.
Yes.
Okay.
So we do fashion shows, honestly, strictly for that, to give them the opportunity to see. You get formal wear, so you know what that looks like and you know what it should look like. We get business attire so that you know when you go to an interview what you're supposed to, right? Mm-hmm. We do have sportswear, so we do that. And then we brought in African attire. So we have a gentleman that's from Uganda that brought in African attire for our young ladies so that they could really see. And it's really cool because he uses the refugees in Uganda. They have a tailor shop. And these women sew, and this is how they make their money to support their families in Uganda. So we've kind of tried to make it a full circle, yes. And that helps us with the entrepreneur side of things. They need to go out and get sponsors. They have to write an essay. They need to be in the community. They have to do community service. Mm-hmm. So it's a way for them to really get well-rounded. And of course, with Juneteenth, we're teaching them about their culture and how the city works. How states and cities, how your legislature works, what these people do for your life, how you have school lunch programs, how you have funding for your music programs and things like that. So we're really trying to prepare them,
get them
for the transition into adulthood.
These both foundations, the nonprofit and this is just, I think this is really good work, like really good giving back.
Thank you.
And sharing and teaching. And you're doing exactly what you preach, which is a beautiful thing to see, that you have been given a lot of great opportunities from the man upstairs, from others, from your just hard work. Mm-hmm. And you've learned so much over the years and had gained all this experience. And now you're giving it back to the next generation. So I think that is such a key, important thing, because this has to continue.
Yes.
We're not here forever. So there's got to be a new crop. And I think you do great work. So,
well, look, you got the platform. That's what's putting it out there.
That's what this is all about.
Yes,
exactly.
It is. Yes, it is.
And with the name, the Superstar Denise, I'm just your cute host, but I love having
so much more. So much more.
Thank you.
Yes. So much more.
Thank you. And I love having, people like you. You're truly like a superstar because
thank you.
You're so well-rounded. You have seen this industry from all sides and now giving back. So thank you so much for coming on the show.
I just want to say this really quickly because everything that Miss Denise has said to you brings me to the one point that is from my favorite musical, which is Dreamgirls, my favorite musical of all musicals out there. Dreamgirls is my favorite musical. And the line is, "Wake up, baby, a star is a slave." So for all of those people out there that are aspiring to be a star, you got a lot of work to do.
Yes.
A lot of work. When the person, the face of the show is out there. You're up early.
Yeah.
You go to bed late. Like you said, lashes, this is not natural.
No.
This is work.
It is a lot
This
of
is
work. Frustration, sweat, tears,
Yes.
blood
Sweat, and
sometimes.
tears. Yes.
And you just have to keep going.
Yes. But it's the passion that's in us that keeps it moving forward, and God that gives us the opportunities and the platforms to do it. So I don't want to discourage you. I'm not a dream killer. Discover and live your dream life. Okay. I want to show you the way to get there.
Amen.
Gracefully.
Gracefully.
Yes.
Keyword. Well, thank you so much.
Well, Denise, you have been a wonderful host, and you're giving back to the community in the same way. So it's,
Thank you.
I know it's the Superstar Denise show, but she's not just the pretty host, y'all. She's got a whole back line that's going as well. So thank you so much for allowing me to come on the platform. And thank you for this, the platform and all of this great stuff. So I'm just going to sit back and see what's next.
Oh, well, you have something exciting coming next. So on that note, we are going to segue into our fun game portion of the show. Hungry for more? You've just heard the interview, but there's so much more to see. Watch the complete show on YouTube at Superstar Denise, including our game segment and featured Superstar Spotlight performance. We'll see you there.